What's going on, everybody? Victor here with another brand new video, and I'm going to talk about the main event that will be taking place on February 13th, UFC 258. Yes, not 257, but 258. It's going to be headlined by two teammates, or shall I say two former teammates, or however you guys would really like to call it. Obviously, these guys train together, but they're currently not training together because they're supposed to fight each other. I'm talking about Kamaru Usman versus his training partner, former training partner, Gilbert Durinho Burns. Obviously, these guys are slated to fight each other for the UFC Welterweight Championship, and that will be taking place only in a couple of weeks. And I just want to talk about the odds, who might win, who's got an advantage, who's got a disadvantage, all these different things that'll be going on, that'll be taking place during this fight on February 13th. Obviously, we don't know about a lot of the fights that will be going on during that card just because the UFC is having a lot of things go on, a lot of events taking place on this week on Fight Island in Abu Dhabi, UAE, obviously with the whole Etihad Arena, but February 13th is going to be back in Vegas. Yes, that pay-per-view is going to go on in the UFC Apex facility, so obviously both these fighters don't have to worry about traveling all the way to Abu Dhabi, a 15, 16-hour flight, which is just ridiculous to a lot of people, including myself. No, those guys are only going to have to wait, or not wait, but travel and wait inside of an airplane for about 5 hours to get from Florida all the way over to Las Vegas, Nevada. I don't know about Kamaru Usman. It might take only maybe 2 or 3 hours just because he's training in Colorado, he's training in Denver with Justin Gaethje and all those guys in Elevation Fight Team. So obviously both these guys are training in different gyms. They used to train with one another over in Sanford MMA, which used to be Hard Knocks 365. Obviously down there in Florida, one of the best gyms in MMA today. Also one of the best gyms in the world as we speak. So obviously, who's got the advantage in this fight? It's very hard to say. I believe this fight is going to be it's going to be even, to be honest. I believe this is going to be a closer fight than a lot of people think. I don't think that Usman is going to be able to get Burns out of there fast. I don't think Burns is going to be able to get Usman out of there fast. Obviously, if you take it to the ground, the person that has the biggest advantage is Gilbert Burns. But if Kamaru Usman, who is an individual who has a lot of confidence in himself and in a lot of confidence in his wrestling, if he decides to take him down, then he's going to have to make sure that he's on top at all times. Make sure that Gilbert Burns doesn't get a reversal, or he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Gilbert just happens to be one of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners. I mean, not tacticianers, practitioners in all mixed martial arts. Obviously, he has so many submission victories in his record. It's insane. He submitted so many high-level individuals in his career that it's not even funny at this point, which is why you always got to take Gilbert Burns seriously. Obviously, Gilbert Burns used to be in the lightweight division, but he had a lot of problems making weight, which basically zapped his energy, and it also zapped his ability to take a punch. Last time he got knocked out was against Dan Hooker. He took a fight after that and then decided to split from the lightweight division, move up to the welterweight, because Gilbert Burns is a very big individual. He walks around 205 plus pounds when he's not fighting. So obviously it's a couple weeks out. He's been posting on social media a couple of times and he looks like he's in shape. He's looking great. He's working hard, hopefully not too hard, because we don't want anyone to get hurt for this fight. This fight's been postponed for a couple of times now, and we don't want to wait any longer. So obviously, Gilbert Burns definitely has the advantage on the ground. When it comes to the wrestling, it's obviously going to go to Kamaru Usman. He used to be a Division II wrestler over in Nebraska, and he has used it beautifully in his MMA career, taking down all these guys. He's taken down Jorge Masvidal. He's taken down Tyron Woodley. He used to be a Division I wrestler in his own right multiple times. So obviously, a very great wrestler versus a very good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. Very, very interesting to see who's got the power, who has the advantage in the power department. It's very hard to say, but I'm going to give it to Gilbert Burns. When Gilbert Burns fought Tyron Woodley, he dropped him 2 times. Kamaru Usman never dropped Woodley at all. Kamaru Usman did get a TKO recently against not his last opponent, but it was against Colby Covington in the 5th round. Honestly, it was a very even fight. It was going back and forth. It was very hard for me to actually judge it, but I did have Kamaru Usman taking 2 rounds going into that 5th round. It was very, very close, like I said, but he was able to slick some punches in there against Colby Covington, rock him, getting to the floor, and finish him via ground and pound. So obviously, Kamaru Usman doesn't really have that much power to knock someone out in one punch. He did do it, but that was a couple years ago, and this is now. And he's going to be facing a revigorated Gilbert Burns in the welterweight division, who, like I said, is a very, very heavy individual. When you look at him outside of competition, he's thick, he's got a lot of muscles, he's got a lot of meat on him, so obviously Gilbert won't be an easy guy to get out of there. But when it comes to the power department, I'm going to give it to Gilbert Burns. He's just, when you look at him, you can tell that he's packing a lot of power, and he's also got some good boxing as well. And Kamaru Usman's definitely going to be on the defense for a little bit. He's definitely going to be trying to pick his shots and also block a lot of the offense that Gilbert is definitely going to be bringing towards him himself. So obviously, if I'm Kamaru Usman, I'm obviously going to try to fake a lot of shots, feint a lot, and try to get the takedown and stay on top of Gilbert, because obviously a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners, they do good on the ground when they're on top. When they're on bottom, it's a whole different story. Obviously, there was Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal, and Jorge was literally destroying Nate on the ground, and Nate happens to be a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So obviously Masvidal was destroying him on the feet, Masvidal was destroying him on the ground. So obviously there's several ways to beat BJJ black belts on the ground. And if Kamaru wants to go for it, he can definitely do it, because like I said, he's good at taking people down. But it's definitely going to be hard to take down a BJJ black belt such as Gilbert Burns, who's one of the best in the game. Also, it's going to be hard to take him down because he's a very, very strong individual. And I think this is going to be another stand-up battle on the feet. I believe it's going to be another kickboxing match, because I don't see Gilbert Burns going down easily. I don't see him going down at all. And it's going to be a very close fight, in my opinion. When it comes to the speed, I'm going to give the speed to Kamaru Usman. Kamaru is a very fast individual. He's also a very strong individual as well. You can tell in his body. He's shredded as well, but I don't believe he's as strong as Gilbert Burns. But when we're talking about speed, I believe he's definitely faster than Gilbert, so he will be able to evade some of Gilbert's best shots. He will be able to slide and evade whatever comes his way as well. When it comes to circling around the octagon, when it comes to cutting angles, cutting to the left, cutting to the right, trying to get takedowns, he has the better chance of getting it on the floor because of his speed. He had a good amount of speed during the Masvidal fight, a good amount of speed during the Woodley fight, also a good amount of speed during the RDA. In all these different fights, he had a good amount of speed, and his shots also pop. So don't sleep on Kamaru Usman just because he's a wrestler and Gilbert's a BJJ black belt. This is going to be a close fight, and when it comes to the IQ, who has the higher IQ in this, it's also very hard, but I'm going to have to give it to Kamaru. Kamaru is a very smart individual. If he can exploit your weakness, he's going to exploit it to the highest level there is. He exploited Masvidal's weakness, which was basically the ground game. He exploited Colby's weakness, which was basically the boxing department. He was able to break Colby down round by round by round. He's able to exploit the weakness of RDA, which is basically the wrestling and the ground and pound. He can exploit your weaknesses because he has a lot of octagon IQ. If you have a high IQ in MMA, you're going to go very, very far, which is why Kamaru, who's gotten this far in his career this quick, is successful as he is now. Gilbert, like I said, Gilbert's a smart guy, but I don't think he's as smart as Kamaru. Gilbert, he makes mistakes. He made a good amount of mistakes when he was fighting at lightweight, especially when he was fighting against Dan Hooker. When he was fighting against Dan Hooker, he was trying to go for the knockout. And Dan Hooker is a very good counterpuncher, so he played to the game of Dan Hooker, and he got knocked down. And as soon as he got back up, he tried going for the finish again, trying to knock him out, trying to knock out Dan Hooker, who's a good counterpuncher. And what do you know? He got counterpunched again, and his lights were out. So high IQ, it's got to go to Kamaru Usman. If you ask me who's going to win this fight, I think it's going to be a close fight. I don't know if there's going to be a finish or not. I say this is going to go to the distance just because, obviously, for these fighters, their last couple of fights have been going the distance lately. Obviously, Kamaru went to the distance with Masvidal, who basically took the fight in a week's notice. And then you've got Gilbert Burns, who fought against Tyrell Woodley, knocked him down 2 times, but he wasn't able to finish him. He wasn't able to break his spirit completely, and won that fight via unanimous decision. So obviously, both these fighters winning their last fights by unanimous decision. Is there going to be a finish during this fight? I believe no. I believe not. I believe it's going to end in a split decision, and I'm going to give it to Kamaru Usman. I believe that Kamaru Usman is going to come back on top, and he's going to show everyone why he's the best welterweight in the world right now, and that he's very far ahead of the rest of the welterweights in that whole entire division. Appreciate you guys for watching this video. We'll continue to keep on putting more content out there. And as this fight does come closer and closer, it's only about 2 or 3 weeks away, because we've got the Neil Magny versus Chiesa fight, and the winner of that fight will most likely fight the winner of the championship fight in the welterweight division very, very soon, if they continue to have the success that both those guys are having. So the winner of that fight can possibly fight either Gilbert or Kamaru, whoever comes out of that fight very soon in the future. So you've got that fight going on Wednesday. Then you got, obviously, 257 going down on Saturday. So after this week, I believe there's another fight night the following week, and then there's going to be a break, and then we're going to be back with UFC 258. So very exciting times to be a mixed martial arts fan. Very exciting times to be a UFC fan. So I'm very happy with the way that things are going, and I can't wait to see this fight. So I appreciate you guys for watching this video. I'm going to continue to put more content out there. Probably another one of these videos before the fight goes down on February 13th. And it's going to be on ESPN Plus, UFC Apex facility in Las Vegas, Nevada. Take it easy, guys. Stay blessed, stay safe, and continue to enjoy the rest of your days. And also the rest of your nights if you're watching me from the other side of the world. Later.